What up, friends? I'm Ruthann.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geek Chic Promotions. We are back in the same place at the same time to do Nerd Rage for the first time in weeks.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Very excited. We're going to share it around right now so all you peeps can join us because there's a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we've been gone to our different conventions. She was at Ontario Comic-Con Revolution. I was at the Diamond Retailer Summit in Vegas. So it feels like already a year ago since those two cons because
it's been a week.
It's been a week, friends. Hopefully you guys have had an excellent week.
Yes. We have so much to talk about today.
Much to talk about.
Yes. So Game of Thrones finale we're going to discuss because we saw it separately after our shows were over.
We haven't discussed it yet together.
And she asked me if I liked it, and I said no. And she goes, "Oh, I did." And so we were like, "Oh, shit."
Oh yeah, stop talking, stop texting,
shit.
stop talking.
So yeah, we got that. And then we also got, the whole thing of Bat-Patt that happened. Robert Pattinson is Batman. Henry Cavill's Wolverine. And also I saw Brightburn last night, so I'm going to give a non-spoiler review of it.
And also Picard, the new Picard series dropped their first trailer, and I was like,
CBS Access, yes, which is making people reconsider not getting a subscription. They're like, oh no, I might have to do it. So
I kept it just for Picard, not gonna lie.
Yep, see, there we go.
And it was coming, and I was excited.
So let's get going.
All right, well, let's start off. So the Henry Cavill thing, I don't know how many of you have seen this. It was very upsetting for me to read this. It's not official that he is going to be Wolverine.
Henry Cavill should not be considered for anything because he has zero charisma and zero personality. Like, he's good looking. He looked like Superman.
Yes.
But, there's nothing there, guys. The lights are on, but no one's home. And you can tell, which is what makes him an actor.
Darkness, my old friend.
Right? It's just seriously. So the fact that he's being considered for Wolverine is
not my Wolverine. Because also
who is this guy's agent?
How? Yeah, how?
What?
And see how hairy he is? I'm like, no, that's not the definition of Wolverine. Stop it. And I just, because, I loved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Loved him. I mean, as soon as he was hired, I was like, a bit too pretty. But let's see what happens. And, he was grand and great. But we need a no-name. We need, or somebody who actually looks like Wolverine, not a sexy version of Wolverine.
What they're trying to do is, we need to follow up Hugh Jackman with, somebody completely different so that no one thinks of Hugh Jackman. And so their pick was Henry Cavill, whom everybody thinks of as Superman? That makes no freaking sense.
Honestly, I kind of feel like it was just Henry Cavill being like, yeah, I'll go in for this part, just to do a fuck you to DC for, letting him go as Superman. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how I felt about it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Please comment away, guys.
Also, by the way, what we are drinking today...
Oh, yes.
...is, I don't know if you can see this or if it's backwards on your screen.
Probably is.
No, I think it... Well, on YouTube, it's great. It's called Dutch Whiskey, and it's Predator Whiskey. It says, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
We are not sponsored by them in any way.
We are not, no.
By the way.
But cheers. Our glasses are sponsored by them right now. Clinkies to you guys as well.
And it is a very... the whiskey is really strong, actually.
It's
to be
quite
honest,
delicious.
strong like Arnold.
Yes, like the Terminator.
Okay, so let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Okay. Are we just gonna jump right into Game of Thrones and then sandwich?
No time to waste.
Okay, then we'll talk about Bat-Pat at the end.
Then we'll talk about Bat-Pat at the end.
All right. I'm so curious because, all right, to be fair, I also watched it. I don't know if you guys saw my post, so I actually had to give my first presentation for Aftershock.
Right.
During
the Game of
Thrones episode. And so, we had to finish up and then didn't get back to the hotel room till 11:30 midnight. And I was like, okay.
So she watched it on her laptop.
I watched it on my laptop, and as soon as the credits started, I'm like, cool. It was out. But I kind of enjoyed it.
Really? So you enjoy Bran the Boring being crowned as king?
Bran the Boring! No, isn't it? He's Bran the Broken. He's like, my first decree, change that fucking name.
Yes,
All right, okay, all right. So let's go through all of the things that happened in that episode because,
There's literally only one thing I liked about that.
Okay,
episode.
okay. What is the one thing you liked?
I like Jon Snow knifing Daenerys. That is the one damn thing that I liked in that episode.
He did right, and it's interesting too because like everybody has their own version of like what one person brought up what the dragon was actually thinking because like the most obvious thing is just like fuck you, she doesn't get the throne, nobody gets the throne, and he burns it, right? But somebody else brought up the fact that the dragon is only like 7-8 years old, so kind of a kind of a child,
Yeah.
and also kind of lizard brain. So it was like pointy thing, seat of pointy things, I hate you. Like, and I thought that was like,
I mean, yeah, I can like gloss over the fact like it was all just probably a plot device anyway.
yeah,
But the thing that I didn't like was that like this needed to be done, and he made the right decision. Like
Yes.
after he talked to Tyrion, but
even his sister too, because his sister was like,
yeah, like this isn't gonna happen. Like, and so
She's a
I
murderer.
feel like it was done. It was right, but the end result of what happened afterwards was like a little bit too neat for everything to be wrapped up.
just to catch up with some of the comments, George says, dragons don't age like dogs. Which maybe, I don't know, that's a good point. I didn't read the
might.
book, so maybe, like, that's probably
Who
better.
makes up these
I was
rules?
like, tell me! And then Eric says, hey there, glad I caught the stream just after I got off work. Good to see you, Eric. Brandon did make a comment about Wolverine, but we'll talk about
circle
that.
back.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
So here's the thing.
Okay, so what enraged you? So that's the one thing you liked.
Here.
What got, and same to you guys, like what did you guys like about the finale? What just enraged you? Because this is Nerd Rage.
Okay, so Jon Snow being sent off to basically the North Wall again, literally right back where he started. Not being able to get married, not being able to have kids.
Well, I mean, to me, the ending was him just being like, well, fuck it, I'm going with the wildlings then and living my life. Because, like, he was supposed to be at Night Watch, but he abandoned them and went with the wildlings.
He's legit a Targaryen now. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Come on. Like, are we just going to let that go? Are we just... Like,
We're just not gonna...
Are we just not going to, like...
We're not gonna... He's supposed to be on
that? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like... What is this?
There's also a great meme where like it's when they're saying goodbye to Jon Snow, like the last thing, like all the siblings, and like Worm has already left to go do his thing, and they're like,
And also,
cool, is he
who was
gone?
ruling during that time? Grey Worm?
I guess
Like, what
just
the
the
hell?
armies was just kind of like martial law over like the like couple weeks or whatever.
And also, Tyrion, okay, imprisoned for months while everybody makes their way over. And literally everyone's just like...
And Jon Snow.
Yeah, and we're just like, oh, okay, we're just going to listen to this guy then. Like, after all that, like, all of them come in, they're like, okay, you couldn't have done this a month ago? Where he's just like...
There's no more dragons to
This
ride.
is what we're going to do.
It took
And
them all to get
everyone's
over
like, that sounds like a good idea.
here.
Like, all of it was just like... It was like an hour and a half that was legit 20 minutes.
It was a very dry ending to a very epic show. And I think because I even felt like, oh, there should be all this stuff happening. But to me, I was like, well, that's the only way it could end, is a very like, just dry, like, now politics, now it's over. Like, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's all these battles.
Area going off to become the Dread Pirates Robert.
Hey,
like,
I'm so okay with that. You didn't like that? I was so on board with that. Because that's all she ever wanted.
Are they setting her up, though, like, for her own series? I heard
hope.
that somewhere that they were. So that's why I was like, okay, I
I'd
get
be-
it.
I'd
She's
be
going to
fine
go
with that,
sail
I'm
off
not
and do,
gonna lie.
like, her weird thing, which is fine. That was all fine. And... You know, like the Starks of Winterfell are their own freaking kingdom now.
Eric Davis is, so how about that epic Game of Thrones finale? LOL. As we're like shitting on it. Okay.
So epic.
I'm gonna give you another scene that I really hit really hard for me is when Tyrion decided to just walk alone through the rubble and then like dig up his brother and sister and just start crying.
That was a wonderful moment.
That was, I mean, not wonderful. It was very dark, fucked up, but it was very well done. And
it was a
very,
well done moment,
yeah.
and honestly, a lot of people felt that their ending was perfect. I did not. I thought it was a lackluster ending for Cersei, who'd been ruling for years.
Well, the thing is,
I know she died in her lover's arms.
No, but it was supposed to be, she was supposed to die. So I totally forgot. Somebody reminded me she was supposed to die at the hand of her brother. By the hand of her brother.
Oh,
so technically she was by the hand of...
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, it was like,
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean,
I just was disappointed.
I think that was most people just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was okay with it because, like, to me, sometimes I have found books that have been so epic, so epic, so epic, and when they end, they do this weird thing of like tying up loose ends in a very like trying to make it dramatic, and you're like, you could have just ended it. You know what I mean? Like, could have just like
Right.
And I felt like it did that. I'll need to honestly. I'm probably gonna do a rewatch of this season, especially since everybody would complain about it so much, and up until this episode, the final episode, both of you and I are like, I don't see what people are talking about. It's a good season.
Yeah, I felt this last season was particularly rushed. Like, I liked it the season before because I was like, oh, finally things are happening.
Yeah,
because
because we're not about the books anymore.
But now
yeah,
I was like, this is way too fast. Like, they've wrapped
Yeah,
things
it
up
did.
way too quickly. But,
yeah, that is a weird feeling because like
But
we're so used to, especially American TV shows, to be
Right.
drawn out so long and long.
and it wasn't that, like, I was just disappointed. I didn't hate it by
Yeah.
any means. I was just disappointed. It didn't wrap up the way I wanted it to, but honestly, that's life.
Yeah.
Like, not everything wraps up the way...
I mean,
everybody's got different
the two people that it worked out the
opinions,
best for was Sansa and
Yeah.
Arya, basically, because Arya got what she ever wanted,
Right.
which she didn't want to be a lady, she wanted to be an adventurer, and then
Sansa got her own. She got to rule.
She got to
Winterfell,
rule.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
her own kingdom. So she's also great. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Bran is king.
It was such a fun twist. That
Like,
okay.
Bran doesn't want to be king, and he's like, "Why do you think I came all the way out
All right,
here?" Like,
so
a
here's my thing
zombie.
about Bran, because somebody brought this up. I don't remember if it was to us or somebody separately brought it up to me about after the Night King was killed, because there was something in the lore that kept saying when the Night King was killed, like that man would forget, and also that the three-eyed raven wouldn't really exist anymore because it wasn't necessary anymore. So I think Bran is slowly becoming kind of human again, because he didn't really act like the three-eyed raven in that last. I mean, other than like, I'll go check, but really he was just gonna whatever that power is called, worm or what? What?
I don't know.
Worm.
But I do know that the next series that's coming takes place hundreds of years beforehand. Prior to
kind of pulling
the
a
beginning.
Silmarillion.
Yeah, to the beginning of when the White Walkers first are created and how they get created. And it's a much different landscape than that. But, you know.
I have to say, J.R.R. Tolkien, oh my god. I meant the actual writer of Game of Thrones
George
George
R.
R. Martin won, because now he gets to write these last two books and write them however he feels, because like he doesn't necessarily have to write them the way that the TV show just went, so he can have a whole new slew of like book sales.
Yep.
From that, and I was like, that's kind of smart.
And
like,
obviously this was his ending because he consulted with the writers
Yeah.
on where he was going. So,
but he can change his mind now. Like,
yeah. So comments.
Yeah, so comments. Eric Davis says, I think Arya should have her own series. I would. So here's what always gets tricky about like a character you love getting their own series is the reason that you love them is their role in the ensemble cast. And I'm going to use a very silly example of Quagmire from Family Guy, because they tried to do a spin-off show with Quagmire, and like everybody loves Quagmire, he's hilarious, but if you try to focus a whole show around him, you're like, oh, he's kind of terrible, gross human. Yeah. So yes, I do. I think I would rather read books about that than watch a series. As weird as that sounds, like I'd love a whole book series about that. I don't know.
I said that about something recently where I was like, I would read an entire series written about that, and now I can't.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to me. Yeah.
And then Eric Orser says, I think they shouldn't have ended the series. Just period. Shouldn't have ended it. Warg. Thank you, Brandon. It's called warging.
Yes.
Thank you.
Warging.
I feel like this season, it's such a weird thing because the season took so long because of literally weather, and winter wasn't coming is the reason it took so long for the season to come out, because they literally had to wait for snow. But I feel like after such a long wait, I think that's mainly where a lot of people's rage comes from towards the season.
They waited a year and a half to get this resolution. It was over with like that and rushed through and not very satisfactory.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there were things that were okay, but the majority of it was like kind of lackluster, to be honest. But you know, this is how things happen.
It is really interesting though, because there's a lot of articles. Go ahead.
The whole petition to rewrite the series done by fans, guys,
there's so many more issues right now that need your attention in the world.
Please
Like-
be passionate about where our country is at right now.
Come on.
Okay? Like, a TV show? Really? Ugh.
When there's these horrible laws getting passed, like, ugh. Anyways, write your senators, not your HBO writers. Come on.
Seriously.
Just just like that gives me so much
I know.
rage.
I'm just
Like,
ugh.
honestly, like I was perturbed at the whole thing with The Last Jedi of people wanting to like write, but now I'm just angry because of like specifically what's going on right now in the country, and you guys are fucking worried about the
Like,
last
you have
season
so
of Game of
much
Thrones. Like,
passion about these things. Put it where it's deserved, not this bullshit.
yes, yes.
Anyway.
I forget what I was going to say before that because
You read an article, you said.
So I read an article that was really interesting about like, the worst thing that can happen to a show is, God forbid, you actually survive long enough for a finale, because nobody's ever happy with a finale,
Right.
but everybody's so disappointed if you get canceled before your finale. So there's just no winning.
There is no
like,
winning,
can we
that's
name
true.
a single finale that we're like, yes, well done?
We probably could, but we'd have to think about it because we
I
remember
know.
the bad more than remember the good.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
like
we're
if
gonna
you
be like, Battlestar Galactica sucked.
Yeah.
Like we can Seinfeld, like a whole
All of
bunch
them.
where we were
Friends.
like so disappointed in
Yeah.
the finale. But I know there were some good ones where I was like, well done.
like,
I can't remember any of
Yeah, I
those
can't
right
remember. If you
now.
guys can remember some right
Yeah.
now while we're still on the live stream, please comment away.
Anywho.
But yeah, I just
So anyway, so now we can go back. We've done with Game of Thrones
Yes.
finale and our feelings. We're putting this in a little box.
We're gonna
tying
put this
up,
up, tying it
and we're
up.
shoving it away.
You know, I'm probably gonna rewatch the series. At least it's not the whole series. Good God, Lemon! My
Also,
heart and soul couldn't take that.
Apparently, there were a couple water bottles left in the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There's
it's
still
like-
even the finale. There's a couple of people like that just didn't hit their water bottles
Yeah.
right, and it's just like I get it though from being on set that long, and I also get these poor editors that are going like, do I really have to go frame by frame and look at everybody's like feet every part of
Clearly,
it?
you do. Spending a lot of money on that shit.
Sloppy
Anyway.
actors. It happens
Okay,
after 14
so-
hours on set. So
Let's talk about Bat-Pat, and we'll go back to the Wolverine.
Yeah,
thing,
'cause to me,
and then we'll do the.
my issue with both is actually the same thing, because obviously I've never seen.
Here's the thing with Robert Pattinson. Okay,
That's
like
the name.
first of all,
I've never seen. Like just crickets in my head. Anyways, what?
Robert Pattinson. Okay, I haven't really seen him in anything good. Number one, I mean, Twilight is like its own thing, but he was in a couple rom-coms, and like that was it after that. Mm-hmm. And
I mean, I didn't see any of them because
am
everybody's
refraining,
saying
though. I'm like refraining from shitting on him as Batman because we seem to do that with every single actor.
Batman.
And
Yes.
I'm kind of done with it because everyone did that with like Batfleck, for instance, and I was like, he was fine.
I mean,
Batman.
It's fine.
Honestly,
The one I was going to bring up is oh my God, what
George
is with me?
Clooney.
No, not George Clooney. Before that,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Val
'Cause everybody-
Kilmer.
'cause Michael Keaton. It's his name.
I'm gonna name off all
Batman.
the Batmans.
But everybody had that with Michael Keaton. To me, like he was one of my favorites.
When you have that long of a list of
It's like the
actors who
doctors
played
at that
it,
point.
it's like,
Yeah, it's
who
like,
cares?
who?
You
Who
know
are
what?
we doing?
I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna judge until it comes out.
And
So-
okay, so I have not. So what was interesting is there was to me, I was expecting just the Twilight backlash, or no, I was just expecting the Twilight fans to be like, "But he's so amazing."
That
But
was years ago.
Yeah, but what I wasn't
so in the
prepared
past.
for was that the people who were defending him were like, "You've obviously never seen his work. He's actually an excellent actor, and he hates that Twilight series, and he is like an excellent actor." I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, my issue with him as Batman as well as Henry Cavill as Wolverine is that I feel like we're doing the 90s thing again, where we're casting the biggest stars in these
Yeah.
roles, when really we need to go back and start casting people who just are really good for the role, whether they happen to be famous, or not. But
right.
but definitely we need some more no names in the, I just feel, comic book industry of movies, because like,
I agree. And Brandon brought up that Robert Pattinson was in Harry Potter. He was Cedric, and that was actually his first role ever.
I don't remember
He's
him
not
in
a
the
Harry
series.
Potter person.
No,
so it's
I
fine.
saw the movies. I just
you?
don't remember. Did you? I saw them
Did
all
you?
once.
Okay. Anyway. So,
I
he
love
was
getting
actually
nerd shamed by Chris. I love it.
He was actually really good as Cedric. But then Twilight ruined everything. All of his good cred.
Sorry, George
I'm all-
Colombo.
Danny DeVito was Wolverine.
He's like, I'm all for the petition for Danny DeVito as Wolverine. And honestly, actually, like if this was like 20 years ago and like he went to the gym, I'd be like, yes, like fucking Danny DeVito. Just go to the gym some.
I love it.
And I like, cause yeah, he's supposed to be a short, hairy, like angry man.
I think it was Brandon that brought up the other option.
Yeah. There's other options. Hold on.
I know who you were talking about.
Scott.
That's it. Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be pretty good. I like Scott Eastwood. Like I think he'd make a pretty good Wolverine. I agree with that. But
let's see who else we got.
We
So
could
Brandon
come up
also
with,
says
by the
Michael
way-
T.
Michael T.
Weiss.
Weiss should have been Batman back in the day. Yeah, he's not alive anymore, is he? I feel like he's dead.
Yeah, I feel like.
I feel like I read about his death.
But yeah, I mean that's
I
just
agree
my
with that,
that's
though.
just my issue with them because like obviously like we said anybody can shock us and really surprise us. I mean look at Heath Ledger as Joker. Like we were all like who the fuck thought that was a good idea, and now he is the absolute bar for the
Absolutely.
best
Yeah.
Joker ever. And it's you don't know until you see it. So I am still never going to be on board for Henry Cavill's Wolverine, and I think it's not going to happen. So I think we're safe on that one.
I think it's fine. I think
really-
we're okay. We're
I'm
gonna be
like-
fine, guys. Everything's gonna be
Disney's
fine.
been doing so well with the Marvel movies. Don't fuck up my X-Men. Just don't do it.
So, okay, let's go into non-spoiler review of Brightburn.
Oh yes, I want to
Okay.
hear this.
So you guys, Brightburn is that small little independent film that was made for $4 million, released by Screen Gems. It is pretty much the whole concept of what if Superman grew up to be evil instead of good. And many of you saw the trailer, hopefully. And it stars, what's her name? Elizabeth.
Oh my!
I
I always,
can't remember.
every time we do the show, I always
Oh,
forget all of our stuff
know.
is being used to film.
Like the
So we can't
commentator
look it
from
up.
Pitch Perfect.
Yes, I know exactly who
You
you're
know what I'm
talking about. Yes.
Okay, so anyway, it had a great cast also, but I think the kid was miscast. He had zero charisma. And that is an issue. And I understand it's hard to find like kid actors who are like that, but they needed like a Haley Joel Osment, like of that age. That's
yeah.
what they needed. Someone who had like that personality to bring that character more to life. And I thought it was a good movie. 100% horror, by the way.
Ooh.
Yes. So like if you're thinking it's like just some kind of a dark drama, it's pretty gory. It's gory.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The deaths of people that he kills are.
My interest has been piqued.
Yeah, it's. I had to turn away at one point, and I looked at Marcus's face. Like, I just turned and looked at his face as he was watching the movie, and saw the expressions on his face, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not watching."
Yeah, like, I'm
that
not waiting.
part."
I'm
Yeah,
waiting
it
to your expressions. Like,
Woo! It was like, yeah, there's some gory moments. But it was, I think, written and produced by the Gunn brothers and produced by James Gunn. And then he has two other brothers that did this movie.
all the brothers.
Yeah, all the brothers. And honestly, like, there was some issues with it, and I feel like they could have been corrected super easily. I feel like his journey to becoming who he is, because it's the same story as Superman, like, which isn't going to spoil anything because you guys see this in the trailer, which is that, you know, this couple is wanting for a baby, and then this meteor comes and hits, and there's a baby. It's just like Superman, and they take him in on a farm. It's literally, but
Yeah.
it's in Brightburn, Kansas, not Smallville. So that's where that whole thing happens, and they raise him up, and when he hits puberty, that's when
Shit.
things start going a little
Flips.
bit awkward, and
Yeah.
he's kind of bullied at school, and because he's super smart, and so then things kind of start shifting for him, you know.
Is this a comic book as well, or is this actually? That's as much as I love comic books, it is a nice twist to have
Yeah.
something that wasn't a comic book that just exists.
And I honestly, I would say, like, I would see it because it's fascinating. And I kind of feel like that they put it out there because they were like, someone's going to do this. Like, let's just do
Yeah,
ours.
like do
you
it,
know?
do it now
And it's
before
like-
anybody steals it.
And you can't tell that it's low budget also, by the way. Done very, very well.
It's crazy that we live in a world that $4 million is a low
I
budget,
know,
but
I
it's
know,
completely
but it
accurate.
totally
Like
is. When
low
you're
budget is still
spending-
like $60 million. It's still
Right?
low budget. Like
when you're Game of Thrones and you're spending millions on every episode,
Yeah.
Jesus, you know. But anyway, so I think they could have done a little bit more character development with the kid. There is a quick jump. It's only an hour and a half long, the movie, and so while I appreciate an hour and a half long movie, I felt like he needed a little bit more segue into who he becomes and why. because they start off so freaking quick. Like, they show, like, baby pictures. Like, first they have the scene of, like, where you get to know the couple, like, how they're trying to have a baby and they can't. So you get to know that. The whole thing happens, and then it's just, like, a montage of, like, pictures of the kid growing up and, like, how happy they are on this farm and everything. And I feel like in that moment, we should have had some scenes with him as a child so that we could grow to like him. You know, so that we could have become attached to him
in some other way.
In some other way than just all of a sudden he's 12 years old and he's going through puberty and, like, he's getting his powers and shit. And even though,
we wanted to fall in love with him as a little kid, so then there's that
like, where you understand if he's being bullied and his feelings are, like, since he's going through puberty, are, like, rage and all this other stuff. So you understand it a little bit better and it flows a little easier, but I feel like there was, like, something missing in there that caused me to not have that connection. So, but other than that, like, I highly recommend you see it.
I'm gonna go see this movie.
Yeah, it's playing
go see it
everywhere. It's in the tiny theaters, though, so you go in there and there's, like, barely any seats.
I know. Basically, might as well we're watching in my living room.
Right. But yeah.
My little nerd rave for this week is the Picard trailer.
That's right.
It was a teaser trailer, but I'm so stoked. And it's funny, too, because I showed it to somebody who I was just like, look, and I didn't tell them what it was. And I was like, see, it's a vineyard? Come on. Do you know what happens in a vineyard? You know who owns a vineyard? Like, I was like, come on, bro, we were just talking about this. Like, you know what I'm doing? Like, look the name that's on the bottle. Look at the name that's on the bottle. But I was very excited. I'm very excited. Just the fact that he's back, and you know that he does not like to do trash movies or TV shows. And I know that, like, there was a long time of him having the scripts, and then, like, obviously he was like, no, it's got to be like this. But I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Jean-Luc Picard's back. All right, yes, comments. Check comics. Eric also agrees that it was a good horror film spin-off, like the evil Superman story.
Michael T. Weiss is still alive. Thank you,
Brandon.
I must be thinking of somebody else.
And he's like, I checked. Thanks, friends. We appreciate you while we're running all of our internet devices while we're filming. We're like, there's a question, we don't remember answers. Shit.
Or like the name of what's her face in Brightburn.
Yeah, like names. It just goes blank, and I'm sure that's drinking whiskey does not help.
No, I know.
Get into the chopper. Actually, the other trailer that I was really surprised at is the new Terminator movie trailer.
Oh yeah, so
looks
that dropped.
super fun.
Marcus
I'm not gonna lie.
On that.
Fine, Marcus. Just keep being cool and awesome.
No,
fine.
It's a very good movie, guys. So it won't
Finally,
let you
we
down.
need a good Terminator movie.
Yeah. Not gonna let you down. This one's gonna be a good one. And originally I was just like, oh, she's so old. But then I was like, no, she's just passing the torch.
She's passing the torch, yeah.
And I know behind the scenes, I know some of the storyline. I got to read the script, not gonna lie. And it is a really good story, guys. It kind of flips everything that you know on its ear. Because you know what? There's consequences to time travel.
Well, it's exactly that what we needed to see from that. I mean, like, obviously, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, the best. Terminator 3, the only thing I liked about that movie was the ending, because it couldn't end well. They had to win, so it was like, well, they won, and we're fucked. Like, game over.
Yeah.
After that, meh. Skynet doesn't need a table and chair. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, but this one, yes, because, like, yeah, there are consequences to time travel that, like, always need to be addressed.
Everything switches. You go back in time to save the world, but, like, alternate realities get created, and it's amazing, and it's awesome, and there's so many things you can do with it. So.
Yeah, Eric didn't know about it. Yeah, and Brandon, I'm also super glad that they brought Linda Hamilton back.
Same here. She looks really badass and kicking ass and taking aim
There's nothing like that. It was in the second movie, right, when she's doing pull-ups?
Yeah.
Because for me as a girl, like, watching that movie growing up, because, like, it's really hard to pull up for us ladies.
Well,
like,
we have boobs.
Like, yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing, though. It's like they cast Emilia Clarke in the later movie, who was, like, the tiniest little wimpy thing with, like, they even had to, like CGI her, like, little flabby arms and stuff, and I was like, she couldn't have worked out for the freaking God.
And here's the thing, is that we love her as Khaleesi because she is badass for being the dragon, but she's not badass. She's adorable, in every interview we've ever seen with her, she's adorable and silly, and, no. Anyways, we could talk about that for years.
Cersei was also Sarah Connor on a TV show.
Yes.
So, and she was actually...
Did you know how much money Cersei was making I think she was making, I think it was $100K an episode just to be standing and drinking wine in a
Seriously?
Like the whole like this last season. I was like,
get that job?
fucking get it. Like
How can I
winning.
get
You
that
are
job?
winning. You are winning. I'm just gonna look out a window and drink wine and make all of the money.
Yeah.
Um,
Eric wants to know if they CGI'd her arms in the list. They slimmed them up
did.
because they were in her action scenes. The underside kind of flapped a little bit.
which we do. I'm not gonna like that happens.
Fine.
I'm like
Whatever.
hiding mine
she
now.
was upset when she saw it.
Yeah.
And she had them CGI it out. So.
Oh, it was her. I thought she was
Yes.
mad that they CGI'd him out.
No.
Oh.
No.
She literally just did like the Kermit the Frog tea thing, but with
Because we're dishing. We're spilling tea here. Okay. That's it for us, guys.
yes, guys, we love you. So we
Yes.
have another weekend that we're not going to be here.
I know.
She's going to be in Chicago for Comic-Con Revolution Chicago. I am going to be at Denver Pop Culture Con. I never can say it right.
Weekend after, I will be in LA. If you're in LA, Summer's War Meetup happening 5th year anniversary at
Big
Tom's
stuff.
Urban in LA Live. I'll be there.
Yep.
Gotta sign
Problemo.
up though. Yeah.
So
Anyway.
yeah, so we'll figure out
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out if we'll probably just do another
Pre-recorded.
pre-recorded thing for you guys because we miss you, we love you.
do.
Sorry, we're busy. So come visit us at our cons. If you're in Denver, come see me. If you're in Chicago, come see Krios.
Right.
The Krios. All right, guys, love you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.